Guys, welcome to my second video of the channel. Very exciting. This is going to be a monthly movie wrap-up, which, ideally will happen monthly. And the reason for this is because for the past few months, for some reason, my way of not exactly wasting my time, but we're gonna say spending my time has been to watch an insane amount of movies, or at least insane to me. Whereas before I would watch, casually a few movies a month. Now I'm clocking in the higher numbers. December of 2024, I almost watched a movie per day, averaged out. January was a bit more chill since I'm back in school now, but 17 movies still, which I think it's respectable. It's respectable. So we're going to do a little wrap up and a little breakdown, share my thoughts, enjoy the ride. Maybe you'll find some movies to watch in your own time. So the first movie that I watched in January was American Ultra 2015 by director Nima Nourizadeh. Pretty sure I got that right. It stars Jesse Eisenberg, Kristen Stewart, Connie Britton, and Topher Grace. I gave it a 4.5 stars out of 5, classic Letterboxd. And I thought it was a super fun movie. I'd always wanted to watch it along with their other movie that Jesse Eisenberg and Kristen Stewart did together about the summer camp. I think it's Adventureland, if I'm not mistaken. And I feel like they balance each other out pretty well, because even though most people remember Kristen Stewart as like the very dull and stunted acting of Bella Swan in Twilight, she's really like not the aggressor in this movie, but she's a bit more aware, less socially awkward than Jesse Eisenberg, who I think we can all agree that's how he is. He's shy, he's awkward, but it works. And so the plot, without giving away too many details, is that Jesse Eisenberg is a socially awkward stoner, in this case, who's trying to propose to his girlfriend, Kristen Stewart, and he keeps getting anxiety attacks whenever they try to leave the state, but oh my god, it's because he is a super secret agent whose mind has been fucked with by the government, and he can actually kill people very efficiently and very well. One, I thought it was very funny. I love a well choreographed action sequence, a good fight scene. I don't know about you guys, you ladies, but it just really plays in my brain folds very well. It's just so good. And also, Walton Goggins is in it, one of my favorite actors, and he's called Laugher, and he laughs a lot, and it's fantastic. So, if you guys want a fun action movie, this would be pretty good. It doesn't take itself too seriously, which I'm not always a fan of for things like the heavy just think of a Jason Statham action movie. It's not that. It's a lot more easygoing and fun. And for this series, for when I'm talking about movies or music or anything, I judge them based if I would buy a physical copy of them, in this case a DVD, because I'm slowly trying to build my physical media collection. Ideally, I will get rid of the streaming services because they're just insane right now price-wise, and they keep taking off my favorites, so I would like to have them and keep them forever so that I never lose them. So for this one, I would buy the DVD to rewatch whenever I just wanted something cool and easy. The next movie I watched was Wishmaster, made in 1997, directed by Robert Kurtzman. Yes, Robert Kurtzman. I have my little notebook here. So pretty. Robert Kurtzman, and it stars Andrew Divoff, Tammy Lauren, and Robert Englund, with some special appearances by Tony Todd and Kane Hodder. Those two are smaller roles, but still very cool for the horror community. I'd never seen the Wishmaster series before. I'd heard of it and wanted to watch it because I'm a big fan of Dead Meat, the YouTube channel, the podcast, all that. Dead Meat Presents, James A. Janice and Chelsea Rebecca, my heroes. So I'd heard about it from them when I was starting to get more seriously into horror, and it seemed like kind of a classic that I just needed to watch, and it was, hey guys, I don't know about you, it was really good. It was very cheesy and campy at times, but sometimes that's what you want from a horror movie. It doesn't always have to be full of shock value and seriousness. It can just be schloopy, gloopy fun. I'm all about fun, if you couldn't tell. Take a shot every time I say fun, and you won't be watching the end of the video because you will be dead. So I gave Wishmaster a 4.5 out of 5. I thought it was a really interesting concept because I'd heard of the djinn before, because I had a brief like mythological legends phase when I was younger, so I'd heard of it before, but I really loved how they portrayed the djinn. I think Andrew Divoff did a fantastic job with the voice and just like all the facial expressions, especially when he like when he becomes the human form of the djinn to trick people. So if you haven't heard of it or you haven't watched it, the djinn is about a jewelry assessor, and there's a problem at the shipyard. This big box falls, kills somebody, but that has a statue in it, and in there they find this like red, really beautiful red gem, and it goes to her to assess. But within the gem is the djinn, and the djinn is this magical creature who will grant you 3 wishes like a genie, but it will always skew the wish if you don't word it properly. And on the 3rd wish, by the person who releases it from the gem, the djinn is freed into the mortal realm and can cause a bunch of havoc. So as you can imagine, you don't want to do that. So overall, would I buy a DVD of this? Maybe, if I found one in like a thrift store or whatever. If it was, I think it's a series if I'm not mistaken, so if I found like a box set, I think that would be a pretty cool item to have in my collection, especially as like a horror classic. So maybe, for a good price. The next movie I watched was Hell or High Water, released in 2016 and directed by David Mackenzie. This is I'm gonna call it a Western drama type movie, and it has Jeff Bridges, Chris Pine, Ben Foster, and one of my favorites, Gil Birmingham. Hopefully his first name is pronounced Gil like that. I've never actually heard it pronounced, but I love him in Twilight, and my mom loves him in Yellowstone. So how the movie goes is that Chris Pine and Ben Foster play brothers, and they are going around robbing a specific brand of banks to, one, just generally fuck banks and their predatory loans and taking of money, giving out loans to people who they know can't pay it back so they can repossess their homes, all that. Chris Pine is doing it to buy their deceased mother's home, ranch, and Ben Foster is doing it because he likes to do bad things. He is a criminal, he just got out of jail, and Jeff Bridges and Gil Birmingham play the cops that are trying to track them down and stop them. So I rated it a 4 stars out of 5. I was surprised that I liked it, because this was a movie that my boyfriend Chris had seen, and he was like, oh, we have to watch this, and I was kind of like, okay, I just made you watch Wishmaster, so yeah, we can watch Hell or High Water. This was also after he had gotten me to watch No Country for Old Men, which I had thought about watching, but I was sure that I wasn't gonna like it because I'm not a big Western fan, and I know this isn't a strict Western, but if it's desert and dusty, I'm considering it a Western, and there's guns and Jeff Bridges, so in my mind, it's a Western. But anyways, both of those movies I surprisingly liked. They're not my favorite movies, but they were good. Like I was in there, and I think one of the strong points of Hell or High Water was that I actually cared about the characters, because a lot of these movies I find they can be very one-dimensional, and it's like why am I interested in what's happening to them if they suck or they're boring, they're bland, there's nothing about them. There's a part of the ending that just gut rocked me to my core. Two parts of the ending actually. Gut punch, stab in the back. I was so sad. And I think, you know what? Good for that movie for doing that to me, for not believing in them. Honestly, just punch me in the mouth, in the face. Let's do it. Would I buy a DVD of this? Again, it's a maybe because while I like this movie, I don't see myself rewatching it a lot. But if I saw it for a good price, I would probably get it for Chris because he really likes this movie, and I'm all about giving, you know, giving to my passion, a little thoughtful gift, being like, hey, I thought of you. Mwah. And, you know, it's not a bad movie, so I wouldn't feel bad to spend money on it. Not too much money, but like $5? Easy peasy. Alright, sorry guys. I had to go turn on my dryer. If you hear that, now you know. No one will believe you. Nothing's on. You're going crazy. Did you know that? Anyways, next movie is Nice Guys 2016, directed by Shane Black and starring Ryan Gosling, Russell Crowe, Angourie Rice, Margaret Qualley. 5 stars out the gate. This was a rewatch because I've seen Nice Guys many, many times. It is one of my comfort movies, one of my favorite movies. You just can't go wrong with Ryan Gosling, can you? No. The answer is no, you can't go wrong. Nice Guys has Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe teaming up as two, I was gonna say detectives. Ryan Gosling's a private investigator while Russell Crowe is kind of a hitman. Maybe not so much the hitting, but the lightly assaulting man. Beats people up for money. That's fine. We don't judge. They team up to figure out this conspiracy about this dead porn star, Margaret Qualley, and her mom who works for the government. And the birds can't breathe. It's all a very complex, twisted 70s. It's 70s. That's what I know. I'm pretty sure it's 70s. 70s thing about, you know, capitalism, the environment, sex, the government silencing people. It's just, you can't go wrong. It's beautiful and perfect and get ready to drink. Fun. I think Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe really bounce off of each other very well. I haven't watched a lot of Russell Crowe movies. I know he's in Gladiator and was in The Pope's Exorcist. And, you know, there's a bunch of earlier works from him, but I haven't watched a lot. I'm pretty sure there's always controversies about a person, but I don't know them. Ryan Gosling, I think, is wonderful. He's a great comedic actor. He got his start in, like, you know, not his start, but a lot of his more prevalent roles in movies are drama and a bit more serious. I love me a funny man, and now he has a mustache. Sign me up. No words. Just can't go wrong. Once again, the fight scenes are impeccable. There's something for everybody in this movie. Oh, there's also that Matt Bomer, I think's his name. He looks like every other white guy from American Horror Story. He was also in American Horror Story. You know, one of those guys. He's in there too. You got Keith David, love him. Again, can't go wrong. Horror icon to me personally. Would I buy a DVD of it? Yes. Have I? No, because I haven't found one yet for a reasonable price. Because I search for DVDs in thrift stores like Value Villages, Renaissances, and I haven't found it yet because I don't want to pay full price for a DVD. But if I can't find it, I will have to, and while it'll hurt my wallet, I'll do it for Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe. That's how much I love them. That's how much I love you guys. I would pay full price. Next is Batman Forever, 1995, directed by Joel Schumacher. You got Val Kilmer as Batman, Chris O'Donnell as Robin, Nicole Kidman, Tommy Lee Jones, and Jim Carrey. This is a rewatch. Watched for the first time for my boyfriend, because he is crazy. I never watched it when he was younger, so we rewatched it together. I gave it 4 stars because while I love that original run of Batman's, don't crucify me, I haven't seen the Christian Bale Batmans or the Ben Affleck ones, but I don't think people will care as much that I haven't seen the Ben Affleck ones. But I love the original run of Batmans. This one is not my favorite. Michael Keaton is Batman, so is Robert Pattinson. But of the originals, Michael Keaton is Batman. Let's all be honest here. Do I need to say the plot? I will, for continuity's sake. So, Batman is, doing his thing, being Bruce Wayne in Gotham. He goes to a circus where Chris O'Donnell, Robin, is with his family doing his thing, and throughout the movie, Tommy Lee Jones's Two-Face is trying to kill Batman. Crazy. In the beginning, Bruce Wayne also insults Edward Enigma, played by Jim Carrey, who eventually becomes the Riddler, and Two-Face and the Riddler team up to try and defeat Batman. Crazy plot. I know, you guys didn't expect that, but that's the plot. So I gave this one 4 stars because while I'm a fan of the Batman movies and how funny, campy they can get, especially Tim Burton Batmans. I can't remember if I don't think this one's a Tim Burton Batman, which may be why I don't like it as much. But I found this one to be a bit slow. I was checking the time while watching this one, and as much as I love Jim Carrey, the Riddler was getting kind of annoying for me at times. And, it makes me very sad about the backstory of, Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey not getting along. I think more so on Tommy Lee Jones's part, just calling Jim Carrey, a stupid buffoon, basically. And that just makes me sad. I also... Oh my god, Katie, you don't understand the fake science medical villains device in a movie? Yeah, no, I don't. Is the Riddler stealing, people's brainwaves to make himself smarter? Is it also, a drug? Because he gives it a bit to Two-Face, but Two-Face doesn't seem to get any smarter. He just seems kind of dazed. So, hey. Sorry, I want something that makes sense, okay? Sometimes I like a bit of fake science to go with it. Just make it work, High selling point for this movie is sugar and spice. Those, please come to my house. Would I buy this as a DVD? I'm pretty sure yes, especially if it was a box set of the original run of Batmans, because I love them. They were a part of my childhood because my brother was and is obsessed with Batman. He's a lot older than me. He's kind of a dinosaur. Sorry, Kyle, love you. There's 14 years between us. I'm gonna call you old. We had these on repeat. These were integral training for me. By the time the Christian Bale ones came out, I was a bit older, and I think he had moved out at that point, so I wasn't subject to them. Maybe if they'd come out earlier, or if Kyle had stayed living with us for longer, I would love those I would love the Christian Bale Batmans, but for right now, blank slate for those. Love the campy dumbness of the first 4. Okay, next film is a bit of a offshoot of the rest. I watched this for school. It is 1969 Medea, directed by Pier Paolo Pasolini. Sorry. It is an Italian film. I watched this for my class on the tragic universe, which is basically looking just at Greek tragedies and later on other tragedies. I gave this a 3-star, and maybe I'm not educated film nerd enough for it. I thought it was good. 3 stars is not bad to me. 2.5 is 50%. So this is 60. It's a good movie. It's just not one that I'm going to watch all of the time. Really have to pull my notebook up for these actors because obviously I'm not familiar with them. Italian actors from the 60s, 70s. Maria Callas, Giuseppe Gentile, Laurent Terzieff, and Massimo Gerotti. As far as I'm aware, Pier Paolo Pasolini made this movie and curated the role of Medea for Maria Callas, who I think was an opera singer or a very big star at the time. And Medea, for those of you who know, is a Greek play. It is about a woman, Medea, who, this is not a spoiler, it's been out for centuries, so you can't get mad at me. She kills her children. She kills her children to get back at her husband, ex-husband, whatever. She kills her children is the main thing of the story. And I thought this movie was very good at getting like the mystical bits of the play. It is as far as I'm aware, a bit of an offshoot from the play. I don't remember if Medea in the source material is as magical as she is in the movie, but what it does in the movie is very interesting. So what killed the movie watching for me is that it is very slow. I think it's like an hour and 40-ish minutes, an hour and 50 minutes, but it felt so much longer. I kept checking the time. I had to go on my phone for a part of it just to get through like the really slow shots of nothing happening. When there are characters on the screen and they are talking, it was good. But there were so many shots of just like them going on the horses in the deserty area, and it's long. Would I buy a DVD of it? No, I wouldn't, because it's not my cup of tea. It's not my cup of tea, governor. Sorry. Next up, everybody, is a heavy hitter, Fight Club, directed by David Fincher, starring Edward Norton, Brad Pitt, Helena Bonham Carter, and Meatloaf. You know, I love to see Meatloaf in a film. I gave it 5 stars. First time I've watched it. I'm not a hyper-masculine male, so obviously this is the first time I've watched it at 24 years old. I thought it was fantastic. I wasn't sure if it was going to live up to the hype, but it did. I was thoroughly entertained. Was a bit long, I'll say that, but it doesn't take away from its 5-star rating, you know. I'll give the plot for, you know, those who haven't seen it, which I was recently one of you, so there's no shame. This is a... Would I buy a DVD of it? Yes. Yes, I would. I think it's a very good movie. I gave it 5 stars, obviously. It's a classic, and it's going to stick around for a long time. It's a good item to have in a film collection. Honestly, if you're worth your salt, you have Fight Club in your collection. Next up, a good contender to follow Fight Club, Wagons East! Exclamation point, released in 1994, starring John Candy, Richard Lewis, and one of my favorites, John C. McGinley. McGinley? I don't know. I love that guy. 5 stars. People are gonna hate me for that. 5 stars for this Western spoof, where instead of promoting the West, these guys say, hey, this isn't working for us. We're gonna go East. Call me crazy. I don't have a lot of thoughts on this movie because I don't know if a lot of people have watched this movie, but it's John Candy and we love him. I think this movie was super funny, and John C. McGinley, even though I can't remember your name, I love you. I love how you always play an effeminate man. I love how you play effeminate men. It's beautiful and I love it. And it's dumb, stupid, campy. It's 90s, slightly offensive, but great. Also, you have gay natives, gay indigenous people. Honestly, very progressive for 94, 95, 94. Good for you guys. Honestly, I love it. Next one, Chris and I went to the movies and saw Nosferatu. Count Orlok. You got Bill Skarsgård, Lily Rose Depp, Nicholas Hoult, Aaron Taylor Johnson, and Emma Corrin. Oh, and Willem Dafoe. And the guy who's in every Robert Eggers movie who has the really deep voice. I don't remember your name, but you're cool as shit. 5 stars. Are you surprised? You shouldn't be. I'm a Robert Eggers girly. I've seen the 4 that he's made, and I can't wait for Werewolf that I just heard about coming out in 2026. I think he should continue making movies where there are no cars, no phones, no internet. I want the pure, gritty darkness of the past. I don't think you guys need me to really go in depth on Nosferatu. It's been everywhere, but, you know, Lily Rose Depp plays a woman who had made a deal or called this being Count Orlok, and they're kind of intertwined. They have this debt to one another, and once she's married and of age, Count Orlok's all about consent. He tries to kill her husband so that he can get freaky with Lily Rose Depp. And I think it was fantastic. I really loved how, even though it was dark, we could still see everything, which doesn't sound like a lot, but compared to a lot of horror movies, they're dark and I can't see anything. I already have glasses. I don't have night vision, okay? It needs to be well lit. And this was well lit. Standout performances by everybody. I saw a lot of people giving Lily Rose Depp shit, and I don't know why. I think it's just because she's a nepo baby, which, yeah, she is. And you can say that she didn't, like, work her way into the industry, but I feel like her performance was really good as Ellen Hutter. Is it Ellen? I'm really bad at names. I'm pretty sure it's Ellen. Eleanor? No. Ellen. Why were all of the people in this movie so fine? Huh? Aaron Taylor Johnson, Nicholas Hoult, Bill Skarsgård, I'll say it. Willem Dafoe, all hot. Oh, and the women. How could I forget? They were hot too. Yeah, I think it's a good horny movie, and we should have more of those. Unpopular opinion, I think we should have more horny movies in theaters. Would I buy a DVD of this? Hell yeah. I need a DVD of all Robert Eggers movies. I don't have any because I just started collecting. Don't get mad at me. Yes, I need physical media of this. If they came out with one of those books, you know how like A24 makes those books for the movies? I would buy those for the Robert Eggers movies. I think The Witch is A24, and so is The Lighthouse. Maybe. I think they are. I'm not sure. I would buy like books of behind the scenes of all of his movies. Next up, Bullet Train 2022, directed by David Leitch. Not Leitch. It's definitely not. I hope it's not Leitch for your sake, David. Starring Brad Pitt, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Brian Tyree Henry, Joey King, Andrew Koji, and a bunch of other people. Really a stacked cast of characters. 5 stars. This is a rewatch. This is the second time I've watched it, and this one I watched over a period of days, like whenever I was eating food as opposed to something else. Just throughout a couple of days, whenever I had a 20 or 30 minutes or so, and I didn't want to watch YouTube, I put on Bullet Train, because it's a solid movie, super entertaining, well choreographed fight scenes, woo! And I love all of them having like their characters, like their types. It's a terrible, I'm not explaining this very well. Like the father, the son, the daughter, the wasp, the wolf, you know what ladybug. They all have code names. Tangerine and lemon. They all have identities within the movie, and they get like their own little screen. Yes. So in Bullet Train, Brad Pitt plays a grab and go spy. I'm just gonna call him a spy, taking over the shift of somebody else, Carver. And he gets on the bullet train just going to grab a case and get off, a briefcase. But of course, because he's unlucky, everything goes wrong. There are a lot of twists and turns in the plot, a lot of well-executed like timings and relationships between the characters, that it all comes together very well in the end. Fun fact, when I first watched this movie, I was getting mad at Chris because I thought they just killed all of the characters of color, the people of color, and then they didn't. They brought most of those people back. So then I felt, would I buy a DVD of this? Hell yeah. I would rewatch this movie so many times. This is only my second rewatch, but it's not going to be the last. Hey guys, guess what? It's fun, and I love a fun movie, so simple as that. Next we have Ocean's 8, which I rated 5 stars. I know a lot of the ladies love this movie, and I think a lot of men hate this movie because it came out during that period of time, around 2018, where a lot of franchises were making a new movie where it's basically the movie itself, but just with all women. Think a la Ghostbusters and such. But this one is so fucking good. It has a stacked cast: Sandra Bullock, Cate Blanchett, Helena Bonham Carter, Mindy Kaling, Awkwafina, Anne Hathaway. Did I forget it? Sarah Paulson. It's just... mwah. Oh, Rihanna. How could I forget Rihanna? It's lovely and gay. Not gay in the movie, but gay in general, I would say. I love a heist movie because I just love things that are well thought out, well choreographed, as you've heard from many of my previous reviews so far. And I love seeing how they get to the end point of the movie, a step by step of, we have to do this, I've thought this out, oh, here's a problem, we're figuring it out, whatever. I think everybody acted super well. This isn't like a Criterion film. I actually turned this movie on originally to have as background for while I was taking notes on something, on movies. And then I didn't, and I just watched the movie in full. I made myself cheese and crackers, and I watched it entirely without doing the thing I set out to do. So I think that speaks on how compelling and how much it brings in the watcher, the audience. This is a rewatch in case I didn't tell you. Would I buy a DVD of it? Yeah, for future rewatches, and because I think it deserves more love. I said it. Love Ocean's 8. Have I seen the other Ocean's movies? Ocean's 11, 12, 13? I think I saw 11 when I was younger, and I don't remember it. But Ocean's 8, I've watched multiple times and remember every single part of that movie. So, Alright. Next one is 2019's Hustlers, directed by Lorene Scafaria, starring Constance Wu, Jennifer Lopez, Keke Palmer, Lily Reinhart, and Julia Stiles. I gave it a 3.5 stars, but I was disappointed in how the movie turned out and how much screen time all the actors got. I thought it was going to be very different. I knew it was about strippers and, you know, the classic thing like, oh my god, it's so fun at the beginning, and then something bad happens and they have to fight their way back. And I knew it had to do with drugging the male patrons of the strip club in some way, but I was just really disappointed in how they executed this movie. From all of the trailers, the side characters seem to have bigger roles, Keke Palmer and Lily Reinhart, and a lot of the trailers and media for this movie like heavily featured Cardi B and Lizzo, and they were only in like the beginning of the movie and in very small parts. Side note, why was Usher in this? That was crazy. I did not expect Usher in here and for all of them to be dancing for him. I love an unlikable character. Otessa Mossfeg's characters are mostly unlikable, and I really, really love those, and I find them very intriguing to like break them down. But this one, I think they were just too unlikable. They didn't build them up enough for me to care about them. Like Constance Wu and Destiny and Jennifer Lopez, can't remember her name, their characters had an interesting dynamic. I like that, you know, Jennifer Lopez is kind of like the mama bird taking in all of these younger strippers, and Constance Wu seeks that out. She constantly, I find, doesn't take responsibility for her actions. She constantly seeks out Jennifer Lopez's character to fix things and be like, feel bad for me, like fix this, help me, whatever. And Jennifer Lopez's character does. And I'm saying all this and I don't like Jennifer Lopez's character, but I also find Constance Wu's character very annoying, very seeking out and not doing her own thing. It was nice, like it was nice visually. I mean, it's a bunch of women. I love women, and I like the colors in it. But it was just okay. A 3.5. That's nothing to scoff at. I think it's like you can watch it once and then not have to watch it again. So needless to say, would I buy a DVD? No, I wouldn't. I watched it the one time, and that's all I need. Next on the list is Snatch 2000, directed by Guy Ritchie, starring Jason Statham, Brad Pitt, Stephen Graham, Alan Ford, and a bunch of other people. This movie has so many characters. I gave it 4 stars. This is my first Guy Ritchie movie. It is not Chris's first Guy Ritchie movie, but he hasn't seen this before, and we watched it together. And I really love the style of it. I like the quick shots to like backgrounds or like B-roll basically of like, oh, this is One Tooth Tommy, and it shows like One Tooth Tommy doing something not in the scene itself, but doing whatever else. I like that. It's funny. I didn't use the word fun. I said funny. It's a nice visual that pleases my brain, personally. I'd never really heard of this movie. I'd heard of Guy Ritchie's other big movie, Lock, Stock, and Smoking Barrel. If I got that wrong, don't shoot me. But my friend, one of my best friends, Cassandra, gave me this poster, Top 100 Movies, and Snatch is one of them, so you know I gotta scratch it off. We watched it, and I'm kind of surprised it's on the top 100. It was very good. I gave it 4 stars. I'm just surprised it's on there. It stars Jason Statham and Stephen Graham's characters who run, I'm pretty sure, illegal boxing matches, and it's so complicated. At some point, there's like this really big diamond. Oh, Benicio del Toro's also in it. I'm pretty sure that's his name. There's a big diamond in it, and all these characters are trying to get it, and there's guns and boxing, and I'm gonna feed you to the pigs. Yeah, I know, it's a really good description of what this movie is. Hey, maybe you should do your own research and watch it. How about that? Would I buy a DVD of this? I think I would if, I found it in a thrift store, mainly for Chris because he loves Guy Ritchie. I liked the movie, and I think I would watch it again as just to remember it all and all the craziness of it. Okay, The Fifth Element, 1997, directed by Luc Besson, starring Bruce Willis, Gary Oldman, Ian Holm, and Mia Jovovich. Good thing I'm pretty, because I don't know how to say names. 5 stars. First time seeing it, and I'm usually not a heavy sci-fi person. There are exceptions like the Alien series, Predator series, Reanimator, sci-fi, but not sci-fi. I'm not a Star Trek or Star Wars person. But this had a very good medium sci-fi. I say this, and it does take place in space on a different type of Earth, a different version of Earth. It's 2557, let's say. But I thought it was fantastic. And as much as I hate Luc Besson, he makes really good movies. Unfortunately, Leon the Professional and now Fifth Element. Damn you, Luc Besson, and your child-touching ways. Why do you have to do that? And why do you have to make the female characters in your movies childlike and young for the main older male character to fawn over? That's bad and problematic. So The Fifth Element stars Bruce Willis, who is a taxi driver, and Mia Jovovich is Lilu Dallas. Well, Lilu, who eventually becomes Lilu Dallas. And she is the Fifth Element, which is what is needed to stop this really bad war asteroid thing from coming down and destroying Earth. She is the Fifth Element. And Ian Holm is the priest who knows all about the Fifth Element and how to stop the bad thing from happening. And Gary Oldman is an evil guy who tries to get some of the other stones that need to be used with the Fifth Element to stop the thing, but he doesn't want to stop it. He wants to get it for the bad thing, the bad asteroid. I don't know what it's called. I don't know if it was given a name. I'm going to call it the bad thing or the asteroid. Super, super beautiful. And I love, what the fuck is his name? Chris Tucker? Fantastic. Very fun. Oh, fuck. I can't stop saying fun, guys. I'm going crazy. Elu Dallas. Multipass. Haven't stopped saying that since I've watched it. I would rewatch this again. I would definitely buy the DVD of it. I would dress up as Lilu. I would do so many things. Bruce Willis is a god. And do I have to say anything else? Oh, Gary Oldman, amazing. Chameleon in how he acts. I love his accent in this. It's very kind of southern, which is strange when it's it's sci-fi space Earth type of thing, and everybody has their own Bruce Willis has his accent, an American accent, and then Gary Oldman's out here being southern as fuck to these evil aliens. It's very funny. I like it. Yes, would buy, would rewatch, all that jazz. Another movie from the poster. There we go. Before Sunrise by Richard Linklater and starring Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy. 4 stars. It was alright. I knew that it was just gonna be those two and they're just spending the day together talking. I liked the content of their conversations. I thought it was very honest and, sometimes the awkward, but I found myself, smiling to myself, it was very sweet at moments, and that awkward first date basically of somebody that you think you're gonna like, and the more you talk to them, the more you like them, and it makes you all nervous and stuff. I thought it was very honest, which is good. I am interested to watch the other two of this trilogy, just because I would like to see how it continues, if they meet back up. I mean, obviously they meet back up, but when they meet up. Uh, Also, side note, Ethan Hawke's in a lot of movies where it's like a lot of movies where like he's aging. Like you have these three which take place in like I think 7 years apart, around that, and then you have say like Boyhood, which was filmed over I think 10ish or so years. So hey, Ethan Hawke loves an experimental film where he ages throughout them. I mean, most films age throughout like the sequels, obviously, but this one is like it's about them aging, getting older, and growing apart and coming together. Whatever. Would I buy a DVD of it? I'm not sure. I'm very undecided. I don't think I would. Um, I don't know. I would feel good to have one because I would feel more educated and artsy, but I don't know if I would need this in my collection. Next up, it's another rewatch for me and a series that Chris and I have been steadily getting through for him. It's Saw 6. Ooh, 2009. I gave it 5 stars. It's one of my favorite Saw movies. I love the medical drama of it all. The insurance companies, they're all so terrible, and I love Jigsaw. What? Why did I forget his name? John Kramer. How could I forget John Kramer's name? I was about to just call him Tobin Bell, but John Kramer, just like really being the hypocritical shit that he is, and saying like, "You choose who lives or who dies." And I'm like, John, you're putting these people in situations. I know they choose whether they live or die, but do they really? You're forcing them to choose. Hypocrite. We're rewatching all of them, or binge. I guess you can't call it a binge if you're watching them like once a month or once every few months, but we're binging them because I haven't seen the newer ones, like the bad ones, which Jigsaw, Spiral, and then a good one, Saw 10. I'm really looking forward to seeing those, but I want to watch them with Chris. And since we're doing this series, I've been very, very good at waiting to watch those new ones. So would I buy a DVD of this? Hell yeah. I would buy the whole box set of all of these movies. I would buy a little Billy the Puppet. I would buy a stuffed John Kramer. I love these movies. I wish I had been of age and had like the sway to go to their premieres, especially when they were doing like the blood drive promotions. I think those were super, super cool. And I'm so jealous that they happened and I wasn't there to see them live. But I love you, Saw. I love you. I would die in a Saw movie. In case you were wondering, I would die. We've reached our last movie, number 17, Saturday Night. This came out 2024, directed by Jason Reitman, and starring Gabriel LaBelle, Rachel Sennett, Corey Michael Smith, Dylan O'Brien, Lamorne Morris, and so many other actors, because, you know, Saturday Night had a lot of people move in and a shake-in. I gave this 4.5 stars. I had heard mixed reviews about it. I thought it was a fun time. Hey, did you drink? I said it was a fun time. I talked to my dad about it. I said, "Hey Dad, I watched Saturday Night the other day about the first taping or first showing of Saturday Night Live in 1975." And he said, "I was there. None of that happened." I'm like, well, it doesn't show like the show. Saturday Night shows like the behind the scenes, the hour and a half beforehand. He's like, "No, but those stories weren't real." Like, okay, whatever. It was a fun movie. It was really good and entertaining, and I liked looking the people up afterwards to compare them to the actors. I know of them. Less so of the women, because I'm terrible. But I knew of them, but I liked seeing them side by side. I thought Corey Michael Smith did a fantastic job. Fantastic job as Chevy Chase. The looks, the mannerisms, the voice, I think it was really, really perfect. I loved seeing Dylan O'Brien. He didn't have like the look of Dan Aykroyd. I think it's just because of Dan Aykroyd's crazy eyebrows back in the 70s. He didn't have the look of him, but I thought he did a good job with the mannerisms, and I just love Dylan O'Brien. So the short scene was greatly appreciated. With movies like this where it is a retelling, a movie about something that really happened, it's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be exactly what happened because it's a movie. It has to entertain people, and sometimes reality is not entertaining. So even if it took creative liberties with some of like the extremes or the chaos that happened, hey, it made a good movie, and that's what it was supposed to be. And it's a love letter to SNL, which, you know, hasn't been good lately, but it was good. It's a very fun show at times, and I think it did a really good job. Would I buy a DVD of it? Yes, I would, because I would rewatch this movie. I would force Chris to watch it. Okay, so my favorite part of all this, analytics and numbers, baby. So, I watched 17 movies in the month of January. 30% were rewatches and 70% were new, fresh to my cute little brain. So, the genre breakdown, the biggest category was comedy, no surprise. I love a giggle, I love a laugh, I love, you say it with me now, fun. With second place tied, action, drama, and crime. Hey, good for me. Good for me for getting out there and being adventurous and being a criminal. And yeah, being dramatic. Because that's what we're all about now. Then we have the rating breakdown. So, lowest rating was 3 stars, highest rating was 5 stars. Here are the numbers. And then we also have a year's breakdown. So I was most fond of, not most fond, but I watched most movies from the 90s and the 2010s. And something that I thought was really interesting were my top actors for this month. So we have Sandra Bullock, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Willem Dafoe, and Helena Bonham Carter, who all have 2 movies that were featured this month. And then the big kahuna, the king, Brad Pitt, with Fight Club, Bullet Train, and Snatch. Congratulations, man. Why do I keep watching Brad Pitt movies? I thought that I didn't like Brad Pitt, and I'm not looking in the camera. I thought that I didn't like Brad Pitt, but I keep watching his movies. I watched those. I watched Interview with the Vampire a little while ago. I watched Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I keep going back to him, and I thought I didn't like him, but I guess I'm wrong. That's okay. We're allowed to be wrong. So we did it, guys. That was my January wrap-up. Funky, crazy movies. This is going to be so long to edit for my inexperienced fingers. But I hope you guys had fun. I did, even though I went through so much water because I'm not used to talking this much. But I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Watch some movies. If anybody's watching, let me know what you think of these movies that I watched. Recommend your own. Tell me that my opinions are terrible and bad and stupid. Tell me why. I would love to have a discussion with you guys and get smarter. I'm not afraid. Are you?